Good morning, everybody. David, sorry, I was a little slow today. I was getting there. Everybody good? Happy Thursday. Happy April Fool's Day. And I'm not going to do anything because I can't stand it. We got a great show for you today. Really great show. Guest speaker, real great stuff. As usual, we're going to start with a video, an interesting video, right? I think as of today, as of right now, everybody in the state of Connecticut, everybody 16 and over qualifies, is eligible to get their vaccine, which is exciting. That's really great. But let's take a quick look at how we got here through all this.
Welcome back to Late Night, everybody, with Johnson & Johnson's one-shot vaccine now going into the arms of Americans. There are now 3 approved COVID-19 vaccines. Here with more on that is one of our writers, Jeff Wright.
What's up, Moderna?
Hey, Pfizer, what are you doing here?
I'm here for the vaccine job.
Really? Do you even have a vaccine?
Of course I do, and it's 92% effective.
That's cute. My vaccine is 94% effective, but who's counting?
So you're here for the vaccine job, too?
Yep, so you might as well get a head start on traffic and go home. Everyone's gonna choose my vaccine.
You awfully confident for someone with such a bad name.
What are you talking about?
Your name literally sounds like murder. Nobody wants your Moderna vaccine.
Come on, man. Moderna doesn't sound like murder. I had 3 name meetings and nobody said nothing.
Hey, did the job interview start already? Not yet. Who are you guys? See, I told you we weren't gonna be late. I'm Johnson. That's my brother Johnson. We're Johnson & Johnson.
Both of your names are Johnson?
Yeah.
So which Johnson name comes first?
Mine does. No, mine does. But I'm older. But I put more money in. Well, it was my idea. No, you said it as a joke, and I said, let's actually do it. Hey, guys, we don't care. Just go by your first names. Johnson? Wait, so your name is Johnson, Johnson, and Johnson, Johnson? Yeah. See, I told you we should have went by the Johnson. No, then we'd be like the Jacksons, and somebody would have to be a Tito. I'm not trying to be a Tito.
So you guys have a vaccine too?
Yeah. And it only needs 1 shot.
What's your effective rate?
81%.
What? What was that?
81%. Did he say ampersand?
I think he said Aiden for president.
Who's Aiden?
Remember Aiden, that dude from our gym class, the one with the eye thing?
Oh, yeah, that dude. What was up with his eye?
I think it was like dead.
When he looked at me, I felt
I said
cold.
81%.
Oh, hell no. But we protect against more than just COVID, and we working on a new way to take the shot. That's what's up, because I'm tired of taking shots in the butt.
Whoa, you do know you can inject it in the arm, right?
What? I knew that. I gotta make a quick phone call. I'll be back. Hey, is this where the interview is happening? I have a vaccine, too.
Wait, who are you?
AstraZeneca. That's a cool name.
I would kill for that name.
I bet you would.
Shut up. Why are you so late?
I was working in Europe and I just got in. So you just got off an international flight and then quarantine? Yeah, but that's because trying to give me the virus. But he kept asking me to pull my pants down.
You Johnsons can leave too. I already got pre-orders from every country. I guess everyone wants my vaccine.
Nobody wants your vaccine. You probably put the chip in people.
That was one time, and it was a chocolate chip. I was trying to end hunger.
Next, Mr. Moderna?
It's Moderna. Never mind.
Okay, well, good news, you all are approved. Okay. Then why did he give me my shot in the butt? Then why they gave me mine in the butt?
Okay, that was really clever. Really clever. Some COVID levity. I like it. Well done. Well done. Okay, so moving on. Westport Mortgage. Can they do it? Yes, they can. Who is with us today from Westport Mortgage? Hello, Mr. Bill. What do you got for us today? Bill, you're muted.
Sorry, new phone. And first Zoom on the new phone. So I'm Bill McNamara with Westport Mortgage. I'm technically challenged, but we do help realtors sell houses and we help people buy them. And that's what we do. Really interesting news last night. Sotheby's auction house has suspended all of their other activities and they're going to do an online real estate auction for each listing. They determined there'd be more money and interest in doing that than anything else. So sorry, Steve, that was my April Fool's joke. But that market is also the topic of my conversation tying into April Fool's today. I had a borrower over the weekend who bid $435 on a house for $400,000 and didn't get it. And I was told there were actually 22 offers. And so that's just mind numbing. And it made me think of this. April Fool's to me would be, let's say that your buyer did get that house And then you found out that that pre-approval letter from Bank of America didn't actually hold up because it was based on them saying, what's your income, what's this, and saying, here you go, you're pre-approved, instead of, let me see your pay stubs, let me see your W-2s, let's pull the credit report, let's go over this issue over here, let's work this out, okay? April Fools would be having a pre-approval letter that is not valid when it comes to the end of the day. You finally want to purchase, you got out on the road for months bidding, and you find out it just isn't going to work. So it's a really incredibly strong reason to use your local brokers who are thorough and make sure everything's lined up for you. We do all the work ahead of time. We do the credit report, we do the pay stubs, and we're supposed to say pre-qualification instead of pre-approval because of the banking department, but our work is actually better than the banks. And so you don't want to be in that position, especially in this market when it's so hard to win a bid. You want to be confident. And one last thing about that is, over the years, we've all, Nancy said it this week, Karen, Paul, and I have all said that at certain times, realtors have told us that our letter, it's known in the market that we did the work, and our letter was a reason why they chose their person over somebody else with an equal bid. So this is what you want on your side. You want a letter you know works, and you want to know that when you get that bid finally, it's all going to finish and close. So we've been your real estate partners since 2007, mortgage partners, and we hope to continue to do that for forever and ever. Happy April Fool's Day.
Thank you, Bill McNamara. And you know what? I think I like April Fools now. Thank you, sir. That was a good one. Always good stuff. Appreciate it. So a couple announcements, guys, real quick. Next Tuesday at 1 o'clock, overcoming low inventory, get more listings with Land Voice. They're here to share some really interesting tips with you guys. And then again, please write this down, risk reduction. The one mandatory quote unquote class that we have for you guys is going to be April 14th from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And if you can't make that, we have April 22nd from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Again, in this Zoom room. So please mark that down and put it in your Google Calendar. Cool. More classes, more real great stuff coming in April, guys. So look for a couple emails coming in the next couple days. So moving on. We're thrilled to bring you who I'm going to call Mr. NYC, Seth Levin himself. Seth is with KW NYC, doing a lot of business in New York City, and lives there, works there, and he's a real expert on that market. It has a lot to share with you guys. I mean, that's a feeder market, certainly for us lately through this pandemic. And let's hope it continues for a very, very long time. So Seth, we want to hear
pandemic.
What pandemic? Yeah, right. So Seth, we want to hear, tell us a little bit about who you are first. Those of us are lucky to know you, but many of us don't. So let us know who you are, and then let's talk about what's going on in New York.
All right, Steve, thanks for the really kind introduction, and good morning, everybody. Those of you who know me know I usually wear contact lenses, but I've been working so much I can't even, I barely close my eyes anymore. So that's the New York market right now. I've been in the business for 18 years, was at Douglas Elliman for 13 years prior to coming over, was in the top 20 in the company, came over to Keller Williams in 2016 with my team. 2019 was really the bottom of our market. We had gone from 2011 to 2017, just meteoric rise in our market. I just did a presentation to a hedge fund in Mexico and showed them that from 2008 to 2016, the price per square foot in our market actually doubled. So we had 100% growth from 2008 to 2016. 2016, our luxury market just turned off. It's actually first now really starting to come back. And then after the tax plan, New York really started to see our transaction volume really decrease. First 2 months of 2020, I was like, this is going to be the best year ever. There's no way that we're ever going to see a year like this. And obviously, for different reasons, we never saw a year like this. March 13th, I personally had 11 deals fall out of contract. And then we were in lockdown until July. And then most of the well-heeled people in New York, they have second homes. They rented a place in Florida. They rented a place in Connecticut. they rented a place in the Hamptons, or they went to their, pre-existing second home, or they bought a second home. So we really didn't start our market until about October. So we had only really 2.5 months of actual real estate activity last year. So who left the city? Really, what I talked about was the really well-heeled people left temporarily. Most of them went to second homes. They came back. Who left permanently? A lot of people who were, renting with 2 kids in an 800 square foot converted 2-bedroom. They were paying $5,000 a month in rent. And they were probably never going to be able to really make a family-sized apartment attainable for them in New York. A 3-bedroom in New York City really kind of starts at $2 million. And if you're looking at a co-op, you've got to put about $500,000 down. You have to show another $500,000 in the bank. You have to show $400,000 worth of income. That's not realistic for a lot of people. So the renters fled the city. I always say that I saw so many mattresses on the streets, and people that are moving to new homes don't leave mattresses. There was a lot of people that moved to their parents in Long Island, New Jersey, Westchester, Connecticut. But then, you guys saw this. There was a lot of people that bought their first home ever in the suburbs. And I think that's what fueled the exodus out. It was these inevitable moves that were going to happen eventually, but they just were expedited and happened all at once. So I would guess that a lot of your home buyers didn't have a place to sell in New York City, right? Most of them went from a rental to their first home in Connecticut, New Jersey, Long Island. I would venture to say it was probably 80% of the exodus was people that did not have homes to sell. People had this kind of false narrative about New York that everybody was selling their homes and leaving for the suburbs, leaving for Florida. However, you couldn't sell your home in New York because real estate was not essential. So those two stories kind of didn't add up. So just when you're talking, when you're talking to your clients, or kind of explaining the narrative to people, it's really important that you talk about these were renters that left the city, because the people that I'm working with right now, and I've never in 2 decades in the business been busier than I am right now. I hired an assistant for my assistant yesterday.
So Seth, talk more about that. So talk about the now. What is the now market?
Perfect. So at the worst, our market was down 6% under $1 million. It was down 8%. This is price per square foot. Was down 8%, 2 to 3 million, 3 to 5 million was down 10%, and 10 million was down 15%. So it never really fell off the cliff. However, new development, I got a $4.6 million deal, asking price down to 3.5. I got a 3.6 down to 3.1. I had a buyer who was hesitant in a $4.5 million property I knew we can get for 3.5. Yesterday, we went back to the development. They're not coming down below 3.9. So even the weaker parts of our market, which is new development, is tightening up. I personally, this is not my team. This is me. I put, as of next week, it should be $35 million into contract in the first 3 months and 1 week.
Wow.
That's a lot of business. Even, for my team, like we do a lot of business, but this is abnormal. So, as I mentioned, 2020 was going to be this banner year, all the pent up demand, people trying to, acclimate to the new tax plan. There's about 2 years of really low activity. We're now seeing the backload of the backload and everybody kind of coming back in the city. So, I have buyers who are selling their 2-bedroom to get into a 3-bedroom, a 3-bedroom to get into a 4-bedroom. It's a lot of rejiggering around the city, but don't think that I won't call it a migration or an exodus, because a lot of who's buying in the suburbs, at least in my client base, they're buying second homes. And I think that you guys are going to see another wave of that for people wanting to buy second homes for this summer as well. But I will mention, I put 121 East 23rd Street, for instance, $1.75 million property on the market about a week and a half ago. We were going to list early in the pandemic just because they actually have 2 homes to sell in New York City. We're selling one for 1.7, one for 1.65. or putting an offer in today on a $3.6 million larger place for their family, for their growing family. We were going to list it at 1.75 with the expectation that we would get about 1.6 during the pandemic. Or we're still in the pandemic, but during the height of the fear surrounding the pandemic. And because of a family situation, they actually had to hold. It wasn't strategy. We listed it, a week and a half ago. We have offers way over ask. I listed a $2.6 million place last week, fourth floor walk up, 1,000 square feet with 600 square feet of outdoor space. But I mean, it's gorgeous. We're going to best and final on Friday. So those of you who've heard my negotiation class, I talk in Market Pulse. Market Pulse is the percent of actively listed inventory that's in contract. So we right now, for instance, I'm looking for a 2-bedroom co-op on the Upper East Side. 93% of that inventory is in contract. The Market Pulse is 0.93.
Wow. During
the height of COVID fears, our inventory got up to 11,000 units. That's abnormal. We're usually around 7,000. We had a Market Pulse in certain neighborhoods of 0.09.
Wow.
Meaning 9% of inventory was in contract. Right now, we have a total Market Pulse of 0.59, meaning about 60% of our inventory is in contract. We have under 7,000 units. So in our active spring market, where we should be seeing inventory shoot up, we're actually, more is coming off the market than is going on. So our inventory is actually going down. Are there still deals out there? Yes. In every price point, we can find.
Uh-oh, Seth is frozen.
Apartments that need renovation because people don't buying opportunities, but there is definitely, not the discount that people are expecting. We had a buyer from Florida, was connected to me recently by a tax attorney I know down there. He was looking to buy something, around $12 million, and he kept making offers at $7 million, and we were getting laughed at by developers. I am about to get an accepted offer on a $12.5 million new development for a client of mine from Dubai. I know the director of sales for that building incredibly well. A month ago, she said we could have got it for $8 million. We're going to get an accepted offer at 9.5. That being said, I was able to negotiate extra commission. I was able to negotiate a parking spot. I was able to negotiate, a lot of the closing cost concessions, which added up to about $600,000 in savings for my buyer. But even in the vulnerable higher ends of our market, we're seeing a tightening of the concessions and the discounts. And I think every one of my, I'll call them good listings, is either in contract or about to go into contract. And my not so great listings, we're actually getting activity on them that we hadn't been seeing for a while. So the market, in general is pretty robust. It's at the bottom of our market, it's actually skewed towards a seller's market already. The middle of the market's balanced. The top of the market is still skewed towards the buyer, but it's changing.
Shifting, yeah.
But you guys will get more referrals from, or people leaving New York, because, people are now going to start seeing that their properties are worth more than they thought. And I think there's going to be another wave of sales. And then the people that kind of wanted to move to the suburbs, but, on average, people have 50% equity in their homes in New York City, in Manhattan. I mean, that's a ton, right? But those who bought more recently that maybe only have 20, 25% equity, and, they did not see a bump in price, and, they don't have the money really to sell at a loss. When the market goes up a little bit, you'll see another wave of people moving to Connecticut. That's my prediction.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that, and I believe that's correct too, Seth. I'm glad to hear that your market has ticked up for you guys. I mean, that was a rough time in the real lockdown, really rough. I was thinking about you guys, and it sounds like things are off to a great start for you this year. That's awesome.
Yeah, really, awesome. Really fantastic. And I would say that we're going to be where you guys are pretty soon, and then I would. One last thing I'll say is the people that I'm seeing buy in New York there are my buyers who are selling a 2-bedroom and then buying a 3. But a lot of my buyers right now are coming from New Jersey, Long Island, Connecticut, Westchester, and they're empty nesters who want to come back to the city.
Mm.
And you had that awesome skit about Moderna and Pfizer. Believe me, that has a lot to do with it. You know,
Yeah.
people are anticipating New York getting back to normal. And we know that we're going to see a rise in prices. We were expecting it already in early 2020. So, you know, people want to get in early.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and there's an opportunity there, and it's the greatest city on the planet, Seth. So it's going to rebound. It's got to come back.
Oh, it's coming back, and nobody should be rooting against New York, because if you root against New York, you're rooting against the financial sector, the tech sector, the entertainment sector. The suburbs surrounding New York benefit from a strong New York. So I always joke that these agents, in particularly Florida, are always posting about how bad New York is and everybody's coming down to Florida. Nobody should be rooting against New York, because I mean, it is kind of the lifeblood of the United States, and it feeds the suburbs. So we want a strong New York.
It definitely does. Definitely does. So Seth, do you work all the boroughs? People are asking.
Yeah, I personally work all of Manhattan and most of Brooklyn. My partner, David Kong, works Long Island and Queens. And we actually, have people on our team that can pretty much handle almost everywhere. We're not in the Bronx, and we're not in the far, far reaches of Brooklyn. Just geographically, it's too hard to get to those places. But, for your Queens, Western Long Island, Brooklyn, and Manhattan referral needs, we're definitely able to handle it all.
Great. Awesome. Well, Seth, would you mind just putting all of your contact info in the chat? Because I know people definitely are going to want to reach out to you and keep in touch with you. I appreciate your time very, very, very much. And hey, I hope to see you in person one of these days sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to come back in. I was doing my Zoom negotiation classes during lockdown, sometimes 3 times a day. It was pretty tiring,
Wow.
but that was part of my lead generation, and it's certainly been very helpful in when business turned on here. I was kind of ahead of the game because I never took my foot off the pedal. This is a good point for everybody. Don't stop lead genning, even in the summer months or whatever your slow period is. You got to keep going, because it just, when it turns back on, it'll turn back on that much quicker for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have to get you back we'll get on your calendar for your negotiation class, because it's phenomenal. I don't know if you have any time in April, but I'll reach out to you, see what we can figure out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Steve, I appreciate it. And to everybody that I know in the office, good seeing you, and look forward to seeing everybody soon.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Seth.
My pleasure.
All right. Bye, guys. Make it a great day. See ya.